Eleanor and Chidi destined for romance and love in the end?
I mean, well, you be the judge of that, you know? I mean, this is undeniable chemistry that's happening right now. So.
Come on, guys.
Come on,
You can't
now.
deny it. Look,
Yeah.
I think that Mike did our creator did such a great job of making two characters that were polar opposites, bringing them together and showing our audience why they needed one another to balance their own scales. And to prove that relationships are not about finding the person that's exactly like you. It's about finding the person that challenges you and that grows with you, and that's actually one of the coolest parts of life, is continuing that growth. And that's why I love them together, and I just adore Will Harper so much. And it's gonna be sad to wrap the show and not get to work with him every day.
A show going out on its own terms is like the best possible scenario. But be honest, how loud did you yell "fork" when you heard that it was happening?
Oh my God, we were so mad at
Yeah,
Mike.
we were upset.
we were so
upset.
mad.
I mean, it's exactly the kind of thing that you want to have happen, where the story is told, and you know, we're not staying as Mike, I think, put it in the letter open letter that he penned for everyone on the internet. You know, it's like you don't want to just like swim in the comfortable water because it's comfortable. You know, and it's I'm glad that this gets to exist as a piece of art and not just a thing that we do because why not?
Or it's mindlessly on in the background. This show's not mindlessly on in the background of anyone's living room. People watched it. People paid attention. I drew life lessons from it. I learned about philosophy. I met some of my dearest friends, and it's a really proud feeling to be a part of it.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, what do you guys want people to remember most about the show?
Bad Janet's fart jokes
Yeah.
is really, I think, what I want people to take away from it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think I want people to sort of really take in and remember the evolution of this group of people together. I think that, you know, just like giving themselves over to improving each other and leaning on each other, like
Being uncomfortable together.
Yeah.
Not looking for the perfect person. Finding the people around you that can help you grow, that challenge you.
Yeah.
It's a lesson for all of us. It's a lesson I take from every time I read these episodes. I take a little life lesson away.
Yeah.
Like, we all have people around us, and yet we're looking over all of our friends' shoulders, wondering where our perfect friend is. And it's just a lesson to look right in front of you, and because maybe your friend isn't the one that needs to grow. Maybe it's you.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Without Chidi all there for this season, how will Eleanor and Jason and Tahani find their way without the person who's really their moral compass?
I mean, that's what really makes the show. You always ask me for fucking spoilers, man. I can't tell you anything. So you're going to have to bleep that out, sorry. It's going to be really, really hard, and they've packed so much into the season because we knew a year before anyone else knew, which is very rare for a show that you know that you're writing your final season, because the showrunner never gets to make the decision normally. And so they've packed everything that they could possibly want to say into this season, and we just move through things like a train. Like it's like a runaway train. It's mad how much we've put into it, but it's a real struggle without him, and you really start to see. Also, we really personally missed him on set for so much of this show, but you really see what an important part he was of that machine, and so it's hard, and we struggle, and we go through so much this season, and the guest stars are so sick.
All right, thank you.
So I am personally a huge fan of you and everything that you
Thank
stand for on
you.
social media. So my question though is, how do you think Tahani and you are similar, like in your real life, and then how her character is?
I mean, I tweet GIFs of myself now, so I feel like that's quite Tahani-ish. I'm definitely more of a wanker, but I think generally I don't know. I think that she's still lost in a lot of insecurities that I'm lucky that I've come through, and I don't really care. I don't give a flying what anyone thinks of me, and that's something that I'm glad is very different to Tahani. I don't rely on anyone else's approval of me, as you might have seen if you follow me on Twitter. And so I'm glad that that's our big difference, but I'm definitely growing in my own sense of self-importance. The gift thing is really out of control. I need to stop. Go on.
I don't want to piggyback off that I think you're one of the most influential people on the internet. You really inspire me. I want to know how this cast and crew has helped inspire you to be your own authentic self and really go for it.
I can really just credit Ted Danson with that mostly. Like, he is the person I've learned everything from. I've literally learned how to act. I'd never acted before the audition for this show, so I had to learn everything from Ted, but also as a person I've learned so much. He's the most gracious and dignified and professional person I've ever met, and he is endlessly grateful. There's literally not a week that goes by on this show where he doesn't at some point skip. He's in his 70s, skips literally around the set saying, "Aren't we so lucky we get to do this for a living?" So it's infectious to work with someone like that. His relentless gratitude and grace is something that I will take with me for the rest of my life. Yeah, also so handsome. Oh.
So I'm going to start with a question for both of you.
Okay.
So as the show is ending, what do you think fans can expect to see everything, like how do you think everything is going to wrap up for Janet and Michael?
That's a question.
Well, we know.
We do know, yeah. But we're not going to tell you.
Can't tell us.
We're not going to
Correct.
tell you a goddamn thing. But what I will say is you will be very satisfied. We are very satisfied. We're very happy, and it is lovely. And I would say if you're a fan of the show, you know Mike sure hasn't led you astray yet, and he will continue to not lead you astray.
Perfect.
Cool?
And then Maria has a quick question.
Quick question. So if you could give your childhood self any piece of advice, what would it be?
I think I would say just the advice would be you're not on anyone's timetable but your own. Just, put your head down and do the good work, and good things could happen.
If I could give my childhood me, wow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
I
of
know.
something interesting.
The other thing is the childhood me maybe sitting on the couch watching Cheers, I would be like, just wait, girl. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say you're not going to be lonely because I'm not going to grow up ever. I'm going to pretend to be a kid for the rest of my
Yep,
life.
and
So
play for a living.
come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go make some money being a kid.
Yes. For life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lighten up, I would have said.
Right.
Relax.
Relax.
Breathe. Yeah.
Relax is a good piece of advice.
Yeah,
Relax
wow.
and enjoy it. Yeah.
I faked my way through my early years. I was so terrified. I don't know why, but there
But
you
now
are.
you're chill as hell.
Chill.
Oh.
Tyson, this one's for you. I like asking the crew what kind of character they played if it wasn't your own, like Janet.
Okay.
But you did.
I did. Well, I didn't get to play this guy.
That's true. So, what was that like preparing for it, and who was your favorite character to portray?
It was lovely preparing for it. It was a lot of work, and I felt like I had really big shoes to fill because I love these actors and I love these characters and I love the show.
But who was the favorite?
My
to do
favorite
it?
was Jason. I loved putting on that tracksuit. I loved getting into his weird body position, and it was very freeing. It was very freeing.
And the hardest?
The hardest was Chidi. Chidi was real hard. I would say I could William has such a specific way of talking, and he's so specific, and I could hear him in my head, but I couldn't really do him. So that one was more frustrating, but you know what? They made it work. There is a big team of people making that show work, and it worked out. But I asked Manny if he wanted to switch characters with me this season, and he was like, no. I don't know. I think he would look good in that purple suit, and I think you guys agree.
I think you killed it.
Thanks.
And Ted, you've been at this such a long time. You're a comedy veteran. Are you finding that you're still learning things about comedy and acting so many years in?
No. Oh.
Ooh, that was comedy, baby.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what you're learning is, no. You know what? When you step up in front of a camera, it's 50-50 if you're lucky
Right.
that you're going to get it right. Because the only thing that matters in that moment is if you're truly, truly in that moment. And that's really hard to do for me. So, yeah, you're always learning. If you're trying to really be there and you're not trying to do what you did last, then it's always in a scary adventure. Yeah.
And
Which is why I'm still doing it.
the rest of the cast watches him and takes notes, and he has taught us so much about comedy. And I would say
that was the first 3 or 4 months.
No.
Now, you guys don't even talk to me anymore.
Shut up. You shut up.
They say things like, no more Cheers stories. Stop.
Not true. When he starts mentioning anything about Cheers, we all kind of go like, what? Let's don't pretend like we're not listening.
The camera's on you.
I know.
They can sense lying.
No.
The camera can sense.
He's taught us a lot about, when it comes to comedy, truth and being grounded and timing. And it's really fun to watch and learn from this dude because he is the legitimate master.
This is for the cameras.
No, it's
I do
not.
not feel
The
an ounce of
cameras
that
are
love
off.
at work. I do not feel.
Shut up.
Thank you so much. Manny, first of all, I'm sorry about Blake Bortles.
I know.
So many people are reaching out on Twitter saying, oh, he's going to be so bummed about Blake Bortles.
Yeah, they've been giving me their condolences. I don't know. I mean, Blake is much closer to the studio now, so we'll see. Maybe he might be making a visit. Who knows? I think that's his underlying plan, maybe. To
tease?
I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see that, but who knows? Anything can happen in the good place.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Play a traditionally friendly dummy.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But I feel like Jason's so much more. How do you think he's mischaracterized, and how do you try to portray him as something more?
Well, I think Jason, out of all the characters, like to a fault, he has maybe I like to think this, like he has the highest emotional intelligence. Like he really has a deep-rooted like sympathy and empathy for all his friends and characters to a fault. Like he'll do anything, whether it be to go to jail for them or to to rob a bank for them. It's like, it's crazy what he'd do for his friends. And yeah, and I think that's kind of his positive aspect, if you can call it that. But yeah, that's kind of where that's my foundation for Jason, to start from there, and then through that, then he can say all the dumb things that he wants, as long as it's like deep-rooted in kindness. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there are so many fans online shipping Jason and Janet.
Yeah.
So what do you think is next for them in the final season?
Oh man, it is going to be. We talked about it a little bit, and I think we got. I don't know if you heard, but like we are going to get the final script tonight, and Mike kind of went through the ending for that couple, and all I got to say is that I had to take a second. I really had to take a second because I can't say anything more, but.
Thank you so much.
Of course,
and then
thank
Maria
you.
just has a quick question.
Of course, yes.
If you could give one piece of advice to your childhood self, what would it be?
It would be take the jump, throw the Molotov cocktail, go for it. I think that's the biggest thing, because as a kid, like I was pretty timid and stubborn and was afraid to explore, but every time I took a jump to something else, whether to learn dance or to learn acting, it worked out, so just do it. I think Nike. No, it's just take the jump, if anything.